to fair hearing, that right to access the court, they have also trampled on it. Rivers people should be informed about how they are manipulating our very weak institutions. Now, few persons, politicians, are now bigger than our courts. It's a problem. This is a time bomb ticking. They don't want us to be heard.
All right. So this raises questions around judicial centralization, jurisdiction, equity and fairness. What does this mean for federalism in Nigeria? And the most important question, which I'm hoping to get answers to, are civic voices being sidelined through legal logistics? Hopefully we can answer that before this conversation wraps up. My guest is Mr. Courage Nsirimovu. He's a coordinator, Pilex Center for Civic Education Initiative. He's a legal practitioner and a person of interest in this particular case. Good day, Barrister Nsirimovu. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, Sam, good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Pilex Center, and good evening to the good people of Rivers State and Nigeria. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, indeed. The pleasure is ours. So, I'd like you to answer this first question as a lawyer and not as the coordinator of Pilex, because I know one of your cases was pushed to Abuja. So, pretend that you're not connected. Just answer as a lawyer. What are the legal grounds for transferring a case from one court to another? What usually is responsible for sending a case to another court?
Okay, thank you for that question. Grounds for transfer of cases are, first of all, it could emanate from the lawyers in the case or the parties in the case.
Okay.
Stating that maybe the judge in that particular case has interest in the case, what we call bias and prejudice. So he petitions to the chief judge of that particular jurisdiction and gives his reason why his matter should be transferred from one court to another.
Okay.
Another grounds for transfer, which the court can do so moto by itself, is jurisdiction. For instance, if somebody recklessly files a matter in federal high court that is supposed to be in the high court, the court can, transfer that matter by, writing to either the chief judge of that court for a transfer. Then if you raise the issue of fair hearing, I am not sure that my case in this particular court, I will obtain fair hearing. That's also another ground to petition. Like in the Simi Alaibis case and that of Doyediri at the time, the grounds for which Doyediri asked for the case to be transferred from Bayelsa to Abuja is security. So he feels like Bayelsa at the time was not secured enough for his matter to be heard there.
Okay.
Another ground for matters to be transferred is also logistics and convenience. Parties are in Rivers State. The judge is in Rivers State. The court is in Rivers State. The documents they need are all in Rivers State. So that is convenient. For instance, if the matter was instituted in Abuja, right, one can say we are all here in Rivers State.
Okay.
And the logistics to fly to and fro makes justice expensive. Since we are all residents here, the matter should be heard here. So those are the grounds. But if you also look at the Federal High Court rules, which applies to what is happening in Rivers State, Order 49 talks about transfer of cause or matter. A cause or matter may, before evidence is taken and at the request of either party, like I said, to the suit, be transferred by a judge before whom the cause or matter is pending to another court of the same division. And this power should be exercised judiciously and judicially. Then also, Order 49 Rule 2 says reassignment of cause or matter. A cause or matter may at any stage. So this particular order is something that should be looked at. A cause or matter may be at may at any stage of the proceedings, which means even at the end when judgment is to be given, be reassigned to another judge of the same division that's within Port Harcourt or any other division. That means it can go from Port Harcourt to Kafanchan, provided it's in Nigeria, by the chief judge, whether or not the cause or matter is being heard before him. So this rule has given the chief judge wide powers to do and undo. And that is what happened to us in Rivers State.
So what reason specifically did they give for this transfer?
Okay. We have not gotten the transfer order. We have applied for it today, and we hope to get the CTC of that order. Yesterday at the court, the judge said, apply for it so that you know why. And I think Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General of the Federation, is the one that wrote the petition. This is what we saw on newspaper, right? We are yet to confirm. He's the one that wrote the petition to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Honorable Justice Soho, to do that transfer. So we have not seen it to determine the ground, because the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation is not a party in the suit, right? One that is interest in the case. So it's not either of the parties in the suit that demanded for this transfer. It's not the judge in Port Harcourt here that demanded for this transfer. It's from the AG. That shows that there is federal interest in this matter.
Yeah, it seems that way. Okay, so I'm
trying to separate myself from the issue. But you don't need to comment issues as an affected party.
Yes, we will get to your interest in it, and I would say that you're doing a good job at separating yourself. Now, just to be clear, the cases were transferred from the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt to the Federal High Court in Abuja.
Yes.
So let's pretend. You know what? There's no need pretending. I don't even know. Does the Federal High Court in Abuja have a different jurisdiction from the one in Port Harcourt?
When it comes to the Federal High Court, the jurisdiction is one in the whole of Nigeria.
Okay.
So it is presided over by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. Yes, and in Rivers State chapter here, they have a presiding judge, but Federal High Court has one jurisdiction. So that is why you can go to Lagos State and file a matter about an incident in Rivers State. You can go to any other state. However, when parties are affected by the location, they can ask the courts for a transfer.
Okay.
So, the jurisdiction is one. It's different from state high courts that have their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Like Imo State has its own jurisdiction. One is Federal High Court, because the matters treated therein are matters, basically most of it under the exclusive list, right? So it's federal. So even if the court is in Port Harcourt, it's a federal court. It's in Lagos, it's federal. Just the way you have one FCT. So that's it.
All right. Now, one of the other reasons stated for the transfer of cases is what they tagged consolidation of related cases. And this states that if there are multiple similar cases filed in different jurisdictions, they may be consolidated and transferred to one location for consistency in judgment and to avoid conflicting rulings. Could that possibly be the idea behind this transfer, to consolidate all of these cases related to the emergency rule so that you can have a harmonious ruling? Is that something, one of the possibilities that you see?
I would say no, because this is what a reasonable man would say. The subject matter of our case is on the appointment of local government administrators. One of the other cases has to do with the revenue of Rivers State.
Okay.
Another of the case has to do with the legality of the
Administrator.
sole administrator.
Yeah.
So I don't know the subject matter in the other cases. So you cannot consolidate these matters because the subject or the cause is different. So if anybody is saying that, then the person is being very mischievous. But if we get that CCC, certified true copy of the transfer order, and if that is their ground, then we will have to write to the Honorable Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to distinguish our cause of action. But the damage in this is that we have gotten to a point of hearing, motions, very sensitive motions that would have determined things one way or another. So the damage is that the soul has about 6 months or less to be in Rivers State.
Yeah.
So the matter should be tried as fast as possible. That's why most of the applications we are filing is ex parte, it's time sensitive. Like we say, justice delayed is justice denied.
Okay.
So we are, you don't want me to come in now?
No. We will take a break, right? After that break, you can, of course, coming in your full interest regalia. But between now and the break, which is a few seconds, and I'd like you to answer this very quickly because we don't have time. All of the 5 cases transferred to Abuja, were they all filed in Port Harcourt?
Yes. All the cases transferred to Abuja were all filed in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Port Harcourt is the scene of the entire action.
Okay, so that means the consolidation reason doesn't even exist because that covers different locations. They were all in Rivers State.
It doesn't hold any water. It doesn't.
Okay, so we'll take that break, and coming up next, we'll be talking about the implications for you and your establishment and what this means in the grand scheme of things. Please stay with us.
really we should have been notified before court that makes some sense.
Okay.
So the registrar said that he didn't even see the file to get our phone numbers, email address, to contact us and tell us this has happened. So you can imagine the Gestapo manner in which that file was moved to Abuja without even the knowledge of the registrar. So he used to sounded very shocked and surprised and everything. So that's how we found out in court.
Okay, so you already hinted at it, because I was going to ask, what is the regular protocol for informing a plaintiff that their matter has been transferred?
Okay, like I said, that kind of transfer, we should have been communicated by either the clerk or the registrar of the court that the matter has been transferred. And apparently a lawyer knows that he needs to now apply for the certified true copy, of the order of transfer, so that he knows whether to challenge it or not, or what next to do in the circumstance.
Okay. Now, you spoke about the costs, and we're talking distance, logistics, and all that it will take for you to consistently go to Abuja to get whatever justice presents as. Usually, are these things considerations, now that you've spoken about cost and how inconvenient this might be? Could that, help the case to maybe bring it back to River State, or to give some leverage in some way?
Yes, I think if it all depends on the grounds for that particular order for transfer, because I know that in a certain case about 6 months ago, Femi Falana asked for the cases in Port Harcourt to be transferred to Port Harcourt, and I can't remember the grounds, right? I think he had said that the parties are in Port Harcourt, something like that, but it was denied. See, whether we like it or not, the interest in this matter is beyond the chief judge himself.
Yeah.
It's political. There is a particular case of one young man in River State that was moved by DSS to Abuja, or he was arrested there in Abuja. And the lawyers here tried to get bail or production order. And the judge said the order is from above. So I think this is a similar case where order is beyond the chief judge himself. State has been captured, and now it seems like judiciary has been captured, and then our legislature also captured. I wonder what is happening in Nigeria. No hope anywhere. The problem, my brother.
Well, we claim to talk for development on Nigeria Info, so I would say there is hope if this our agenda is supposed to work. But I get your position. So
Yeah,
I mean, what?
It's my opinion. I know it's not the opinion of Nigeria Info.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
My
indeed.
personal opinion.
I completely understand that. So I guess the only question to ask now is what implication this carries for transparency and public trust.
You see now, the whole scenario is painful. It's as painful as our budget is being presented by the president to the National Assembly. This entire thing is terrible. I don't know where to start, but as an organization, we would begin to. We would need we would need support, resources to travel to Abuja now to pursue this particular matter. So, and you're talking about, like I said initially, justice delayed also. And then if we don't even get a date, okay, there are some information about this, how sensitive this matter, I don't want to reveal online, right?
Okay.
If what you're trying to, preserve or rescue is time bound, it means that them pushing the case to Abuja, the whole course of action is totally destroyed. So we pray that we don't totally lose out at the end of the day. But that's how sensitive this whole thing is. I've talked about the resources. Then there is the issue of access to justice. Part of access to justice is that you should be able to access the courts. And in this circumstance, just imagine an organization that does not have the resources to go to Abuja, to fly to Abuja, because going by road is problem.
Yeah.
So that simply means that the matter will be abandoned because there is political interest in your matter. So it's a damaging thing that they are doing. We are beginning to run the kind of elite society that Karl Marx talks about, the bourgeois running everything, and everything, including the law, the justice, the institutions of government, is now a tool in the hands of the elites against the commoners. So I don't think it's a nice thing, because public confidence in the judiciary, it's also being eroded.
Yeah.
We thought that when the state of emergency was declared, given that the president made some mistakes, procedural mistakes in his declaration, if you listen to him carefully, you will notice that he insisted that the state of emergency takes effect immediately. It's in his speech, and that's a procedural constitutional error. Ordinarily, you make your declaration, you gazette, and you take to the assembly for approval. But he made that error, and those are the type of things people are challenging, that it should take effect immediately. And then he swore in the sole administrator. So we expected the National Assembly to rescue us as a people. Like I keep on saying, the National Assembly, or the Assembly, the legislature, is the citadel of democracy. Each person that stands there is an embodiment of millions of people they are representing. And they are supposed to be representing the interest of these people and not the interest of the executive. But we have the reverse. And we thought they could save River State, but they threw the state under the bus, or they handed the state over to the president. So, and this is our budget again, before the same assembly. It's a loss. And when the social contract is not being performed by the institutions of government, then it means that they are calling the people to go their way. Like in Israel, when Rehoboam said that he's going to chastise the people with whips and scorpions, the Israelites said, "House of David, go and rule yourself. To your tent, so Israel." Nigeria is getting to that point, because when people cannot trust the institutions of government to get justice, to get remedy where they've been wronged, that means you're taking them back to the state of nature that Thomas Hobbes talks about, where might, where political elites and oligarchs have power over everybody. It's no longer a democracy. We are not practicing democracy in this country. Look at our elections. Look at our elections. Votes don't count. And if we don't even amend that electoral act to read that votes must be transmitted from the polling unit straight to the IRF, the server, then the next election, votes will not count. So it's not a government of the people, by the people, and for the people any longer. So this whole thing is affecting the entire system, where the people cannot come together and say, we want this leader. This is what we get. One person can sit and decide, I want this person to. It's no longer a democracy.
All right.
It's no longer a democracy. They can call it something else.
All right, Mr. Nsirimovu, thank you very much for your time. I will have to leave you with 3 words, and those words are keep hope alive. I'm hoping that it means something for you. Also,
thank you very much.
Our next engagement will very likely be when you get the copy as to why the transfer happened, the certified copy. We'll hopefully have conversations around that. But thanks for making the time. We appreciate it.
You'll be the first to know.
Okay. Have yourself a wonderful day, sir.
You too.
Okay. So that was Courage Nsirimovu, coordinator, Pilex Center for Civic Education Initiative, who is one of the champions of one of the lawsuits that was transferred to Abuja. He's also a legal practitioner. And now we have a better perspective, a clearer picture as to why and how Abuja is ruling on cases that emanated from Port Harcourt. Well, as you can tell, there are contributions to make, hopefully from you. There are questions to answer. And now would be the time, because we don't have a lot of it. Transfer of emergency rule cases to Abuja. Is this a fair move or strategic silence? 0817923 0002 0817923 0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. But remember, turn off your radio as you call so we have a smooth conversation. It is very necessary. Good afternoon, Mr. Sam. I was in a dream where I saw myself searching or looking for the judiciary to reclaim my rights, but I couldn't find it where I expected. I got disappointed when I found it in the armpit. Okay, I like how creative you are and how adventurous your dreams are. But let's keep going. I found it in the armpit of Nigeria's politicians, who can tell you point blank to go to court with all confidence and vehemence because they know they have captured the Nigerian judiciary. Nothing will come out of the suit questioning why President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency, suspension of elected officials, and the legality behind appointment of an administrator in River State. Clinton, Mr. Fresh, in Port Harcourt. Clinton, you have beautiful dreams, vivid, lucid. I get another word to rhyme. But for now, let's work with those. Ezeken from Ubimini. Hello, Ezeken.
Good evening, SLC.
Good evening.
SLC, this is what they call automatic ambushing.
Wow.
But for the lawyer, for the surprise of the transfer in this particular case, that is to tell you that there was no kind of information, application, or whatever shown that is concerned involving the transfer of those documents. So if you ask me, this is political silencing concerning the emergency rule case in this River State. I don't know if you understand me.
I'm trying to.
That is how they will be strategizing on frustrating the people seeking for the removal of this sole administrator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ezeken, and thank you for keeping it brief. Chima, I'll ask you to do it in 1 minute. Go ahead, Chima.
All right, Mr. Oraka, I will do less than that.
All right.
I listened to him vividly, and I will advise him. There is no need beating a dead horse. Alan Horse has already spoken. The idea trying to drag River State back is not encouraging. You were here. Why did you not throw the suspended governor to court when he refused to listen to the assembly? Why didn't you sue him that time? Because if you know the law. Why didn't you know that the governor, as of that point in time, was contravening the constitution of Nigeria? You would have as well sued. For me, all the things that he's just talking, I'm not pitying him. If he has money, let him go to Abuja and go and do his matter. I'm not pitying him anywhere. Consign him there. My own, let them allow the administrator to do his work.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So Chima, I'm glad you've used up your 1 minute, so now I can ask you questions. I mean, I understand, speaking to why he did not sue the suspended governor. But does that warrant the transfer of a case to Abuja if, legally speaking, it's not supposed to be transferred? Should that excuse that action?
No, let me make you the chief judge of a state and of a federation can act for his case file. It is normal. I've seen it done before, even without a case that has to do with government. A chief judge can ask for a case file, and the court, the lower court, or wherever court is, will remit that file. It's not illegal. It's the way I ask him.
All right, Chima, thank you very much. I'm guessing that what would answer both our questions is when Nsirimovu and others get copies of the reason why the transfer happened, then we'll have clarity on the subject. Gift from Yenagoa. Hello, Gift.
Thank you, Oracle.
Good evening. You have a minute.
Thank you, my brother. No problem. It's one of those things. I will use 1 minute.
All right.
Let me remind us. I remember when this particular guest, the activist, Nsirimovu, was in support of the governor. When the governor does not have the power, he said the citadel, that is why I'm coming from that angle, that the legislature is the citadel of democracy. And this is what I've been hammering on, Oracle. And that is the truth. Do you know why? In military regime, you have judiciary and you have the executive, which is the head of state. But you will never find anything called a lawmaker or the legislative arm. So that is the meaning of democracy, true democracy. But this guy and other persons supported the governor for using his own veto power without the constitution backing him. Today now you are crying foul. No, there's no need. After all, what I do, somebody instituted this same case he's talking about before himself at Abuja. In Abuja right now, this same matter.
Okay.
Then before the governors went to Supreme Court again. So what are they saying? There's no need. He should forget about his own.
All right,
It's
Gift.
the same matter.
That's a minute.
The person at Abuja will handle his own. No need for him to even pay this transportation.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Oracle. Please, you guys should help pressure for electoral reforms because electoral reform is the hope of the common man as we speak, not the judiciary again. To avoid consolidation of Nigeria as we see in federal high court matters in River State. Barabe from Gokana calls. Good evening, Barabe.
Yeah, good evening, Sam.
Good evening. Can you do it in a minute?
Yes, I would like to make it a minute.
All right, go ahead.
I really thank the learned man in the house. You have said it all. The judiciary has been captured. The legislation has been captured. Everything has been captured by this present government. That we are watching what will happen. It's a time bomb. We are hearing what is happening in West Africa now. Look at Cote d'Ivoire. There is a military coup, and the masses are jubilating all over. And it may happen. It's just our neighbor. So they are pushing us to that.
Barabe, hold on. I need to remind you that as much as I get your agitation for freedom, we are pro-democracy at this station. So anything that suggests that anybody is going anywhere will not be entertained here. Mufasa from D-Line. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Sam.
Good evening. Good evening.
Well, I want to say that I'm not surprised because I could still remember even when the PDP governors approached the Supreme Court. You saw how they were almost being frustrated. Even the National Assembly was even advising the court to slam a 1 billion naira, charge against them. So
against the governors, yeah.
For me, these are the kinds of things you see when, illegality becomes the order of the day. A saying abomination stays too long in a society becomes a way of life. Now, what are the procedures to follow? Do you just all of a sudden, carry a matter that can be heard in River State over to Abuja for what reason exactly? So the lawyers, they said it all. They've captured the judicial arm of government, which they call the hope of the common man. Obviously, the common man's case seems to be a hopeless situation.
All right.
What we can just do now is to pray, because that is what we have resort to.
That's 1 minute, Mufasa.
Just pray to God to help the Nigerian situation.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic evening.
Have yourself a wonderful evening as well. Counting down the seconds. Good afternoon, Sam. In this case, to be transferred to Abuja simply shows that there is high interest in the case. They want to frustrate the people who sue the case. We, the laymen, know too, as we are not lawyers. That's from Ipalibo, Taylor Harry. Thank God says, greetings. Emergency rule cases transferred to Abuja is to weaken the opponent from pursuing their case. That's from Thank God Ability at Webu. Usually, wrapping up these conversations, I have some line, some statement, some phrase, something that helps us look in the direction of hope. But this time, I just have a question. How can the judiciary maintain public confidence amidst the politically sensitive cases? What implication does this carry for transparency and public trust? And I'm hoping that collectively we can get objective answers to these questions. But between now and then, some commercials will play. It will be 5 o'clock. I'll take the news update and start another conversation. Stay with us.